A quiet courtroom once became the stage where humanity itself was put on trial, and the man who stood at the center was not just a judge, but a soul who carried the burden of mercy, justice, and compassion. His name was Frank Caprio. To some, he was simply a judge. To many, he became a symbol, a reminder that justice was not about punishment, but about understanding the human heart. Imagine a man walking into court, broken by the weight of his life. Perhaps it was a mother, trembling as she held a ticket she could not afford to pay, or a father, shoulders heavy, who had lost everything and feared that one more fine might be the end of his dignity. In most courts, the law would come down like iron, cold, mechanical, blind to pain. But in Judge Caprio's courtroom, something different happened. The world paused. Humanity walked in, and people witnessed what the law could become when it was touched by kindness. There was the woman who broke down in tears because she could not afford the ticket. Everyone expected judgment to be harsh. But instead, Judge Caprio leaned forward, eyes filled with warmth, and asked about her life. He listened. He understood. He forgave. And in that moment, justice became more than law. It became love. Again and again, countless stories unfolded. Veterans who had served their country, standing ashamed in front of him, expecting coldness, only to be met with respect. Young men and women struggling in poverty, bracing for punishment, only to find compassion. People walked into that courtroom believing they were criminals, and they walked out believing they were human again. And yet, what made Judge Caprio unforgettable was not just his kindness. It was the risk he took. For every time he chose mercy over punishment, he faced criticism. People whispered, "Is he too soft? Is he bending the law?" But Frank Caprio never wavered. He believed that law without mercy is cruelty, and justice without humanity is injustice itself. But then came the moment no one wanted to imagine, the farewell. The courtroom that had echoed with laughter, tears, and redemption was filled with silence. Frank Caprio, the man who had become a legend, announced his retirement. A hush fell across the world. Was this the end? Could humanity still survive in a system so cold without him? People cried, not just in the courtroom, but across the globe. Videos of his decisions had touched millions. Children who had never met him said his name with reverence. Mothers whispered blessings for him in their prayers. Fathers spoke of him as the judge who proved that kindness was strength. And as he walked away, one question remained. Who would carry the torch? Who would remind the world that justice is not measured in punishments, but in humanity? It was then that something extraordinary happened. His farewell became not an ending, but a beginning. People rose up, inspired. Young law students vowed to follow his path. Citizens demanded that their justice system reflect compassion. His story ignited a fire that could not be put out. And here lies the twist, the shock, the revelation that no one expected. Judge Caprio was not just a man. He became a mirror. Every tear he wiped away, every life he touched, every moment of mercy, those were not just his. They belonged to all of us. For in him we saw what humanity could be. In him we remembered that the world does not change by punishment, but by compassion. And though he retired, his spirit did not. Because the truth is this, Frank Caprio never left. He lives inside every person who chooses kindness over cruelty, understanding over judgment, humanity over hate. And now, dear listener, ask yourself, what will you do with this story? Will you let it fade into silence? Just another tale of a man who once lived? Or will you take his torch and carry it forward? Because the greatest farewell is not in saying goodbye, but in living the values that someone leaves behind. So as you watch this, remember that Judge Frank Caprio was more than a judge. He was proof that one person can touch millions of lives with nothing more than kindness. And as long as we tell his story, as long as we carry his message, he will never be gone. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that humanity still matters in this world, then make sure you subscribe, because together we will keep these stories alive. Let us build a community where compassion is our law, and justice is measured not by punishment, but by love. Because Frank Caprio showed us the way. And now it is up to us to walk it.